Around June of last year, I finally decided to not renew my Pocket subscription. I was a Pocket user for many years, and in fact, I was one of the top 10% users, apparently. I got that email. I wanted to move away from Pocket because I was paying for so many services, and I was just trying to reduce the amount of services that I had to pay for, be able to control it a little bit better, basically self host something that would be something that I wouldn't have to rely on an outside provider for. The solution that I ended up with was Linkwarden. So in this video, I'm just going to show a quick overview of Linkwarden and how I'm using it. So the way that I used Pocket was basically as a bookmark manager and archive. So I would just put articles into Pocket, and then it'll create that readable format and preserve it. So even if that article was deleted or, the site went down for whatever reason or whatever, I would still have access to the original article. And that's how I use Pocket. And so I wanted something that was simple, something lean, something easy. And the one I ended up with was Linkwarden. And Linkwarden is pretty much exactly that. It's a bookmark manager with archival. So I'm going to do a quick overview of Linkwarden and just show how I use it basically, and what is available. So here we are in the login screen of Linkwarden. When you first start up Linkwarden, you click on sign up, create a user, and then you just log in, right? So I have a user created here. And then when you log in, this is what you're greeted with, your dashboard. So all your recent links are all in this area here. If you have any pinned links, they're going to be in the pinned area. So I only have one article and I pinned it already. So the pinned will stay here no matter what. So even if I, add 100 other links, this one will always be pinned here. So Linkwarden by default will archive whatever links that you put in there in 4 different formats. So a screenshot, a PDF, a single HTML file, and a readable format. So you can see here 4 icons here, each representing one of the archival formats. So let's just click on one of them. This is the HTML view. And basically you can see that it maintains the structure of the site, and it basically looks like you're on the site. We can switch to the other formats. This is a screenshot. You can see that there. We have the readable format, which is what I used with Pocket, basically. Most of my reading on Pocket was done like this. I read the article like this, pretty much. And then a PDF version of the site as well, or link. There is another option, though, which is archiving it to the Wayback Machine. So let me just really quickly show you here in the settings here. First off, let's just go through this real quick. You have an option to import links and export links. So the export data. The export, I believe, exports it as a JSON, and imports, you can import it either as from another Linkwarden, as a bookmarks HTML file, a Wallabag JSON file, and an Omnivore zip file. So those are options that you have for importing. And for me, I basically just imported a bookmarks HTML file. Next up in preferences, we have just the basic stuff, light mode, dark mode. Ugh, sorry about that. You can also change the colors of, the different things. So you have archive settings here, so you can choose what kind of formats you want to preserve it as. Like I said, by default, these 4 are selected, with the optional snapshot to the archive.org as an option. I don't need a PDF. So for me, I only have the readable format, the web page, and the screenshot. Doesn't matter, whatever you want. Down here in the link settings, we have prevent duplicate links. That's something that I do turn on because I don't want duplicates. And then you can also you can change the behavior of what happens when you click on the link. So do you want it to open details? Do you want to open the original content? Do you want it to open as one of the preserved formats? And then all you have to do is click Save Changes, and now save your changes. There's also an RSS subscription feed here that you can use. I think I haven't used it. I think it will just, if you add an RSS feed, it'll also do the archival automatically. I don't use it. I do use RSS, but I use Fresh RSS. So I've never tried this before. No idea how it works. Finally, here we have access tokens. I'm assuming this is if you have the browser plugin extension, I mean. And this will allow you to just, click a button and it'll add it to your Linkwarden. Again, I don't use that. I always have the Linkwarden tab open on mine. Next up, we have password, obvious. And then here is worker, which is basically if you wanted to try to regenerate missing formats, or for example, I had unchecked PDF, but I, later on I want the PDF version as well, then you can just do it from here. You could also regenerate everything for all users and all that other stuff. Going back to our dashboard here, if we go to server administration, very simple. All you have is just user administration. That's it. So you can add a new user. I added another user called Testy. You just click add, put a name, blah, 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 and then whatever, create a password and create user. Done. Back again here on our main dashboard. Over here on the side, we have pinned. So if you want to see only your pinned links, you can just click that. All links, obviously, all links. All collections shows all your collections. I created, a collection 1, 2, 3 with nothing in it. Let's say, for example, I want to move this link to a different collection. I can click on that, do edit. Here you can also add tags. So let's say, for example, I already created a tag called news, right? But let's say you want to add a new one. We could call this there. So you just type it in, hit enter, it'll add it. Description. So the search bar up here will search the description as well. So if you want to make it very descriptive, you can search for that, save changes. Here you'll also see the available formats that it has. You can download this format. So for example, you want to download the screenshot, you click that, it'll download. Or if you want to open it, you just click on that link. It takes you to the preserved format. So if we want to move it into a collection, move it to collections. But if you want to create a new collection, you do that from up here. Click on here, new collection, that, and then give it a description if you want. Right, and then there you go. You got a new collection on the side there. Very easy, very simple, really lightweight. That's why I picked it. So next up, I am going to show you how to set it up, or how I set it up, I guess. This is the Linkwarden GitHub page. You can use the Docker Compose that they provide here. I did not use that. I created my own. So first things we got to do is create our server, set it up however you want yours set up. I have an Ansible playbook. So once you set up your server however you want it and SSH'd into it, first thing you got to make sure you have is Docker installed as well. So on top of whatever you normally do to set up your server, also install Docker. After you got that set up, the thing I like to do, so in my home directory here, I like to create a new directory specifically for what we're doing, which is Linkwarden. So create a new directory called Linkwarden. We're going to cd into that directory. And then we're going to create our Docker Compose file. So use whatever editor that you like, Nano, Vim, whatever. I'm using Vim. Once you're in your editor of choice, just paste in the contents of the Docker Compose file, or you can just download the Docker Compose file that's available on the Linkwarden GitHub page. I have my own that I created. That's just basically a modified version of the one they have on there. Paste it in. This is what mine looks like. Yours doesn't have to be like this. Once you have that set up, if you want to change the ports, you can. Actually, in fact, I will change the ports. I'm going to change from port 3000 to port 80, just to make it easier. That's technically should be in quotes too. Once that's done, save the file, exit. Now we got to create the .env file. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, use whatever editor you prefer. Once we're done there, you can use the env.sample file from the GitHub. That's pretty much what I used. So you can either copy this and paste it in, or you can just download it. I'm just gonna paste it in. So I'm gonna create the .env file here, again using whatever editor you want. There we go. And then once we have that set up, there's a few that we want to change. The first one that we want to change is up here, which is the next auth URL. We want to change this part. So for us, I changed the port on mine. So I would change mine from 3000 to 80. So we got to change that here as well. So there we go. Then for our next one, which is the secret key, you want to probably generate something with your Bitwarden or whatever password manager that you use. Create a strong secret. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do something like that just because it's a demo anyways. Create something that's strong for yourself. And then the final one that we want to change is the Postgres password. So all the way down here. We want to create a password. Again, use a strong password. Don't use something basic. I don't care for this because it's a demo. Once you create that, we're done. Go ahead and save, exit out of your text editor. So we got our env file, we got our Docker Compose file. And then next thing we got to do is just bring up the stack. So Docker Compose up -d. Oh, hold on. Let's see what I fucked up here. Okay, it took a while, but I finally figured out what the issue was. So I have a tab in here and spaces mixed. So here's the fixed version. Like I said, it was only some of them were tabs and some of them were spaces. So let's just redo the changes that I made. We're just changing it to port 80. That's it. Save. All right. And now we can go ahead and bring the stack up. It'll pull the images, and once it's done, it'll bring the stack up. Then all we have to do is just go to the IP address of the server. All right, I'll be right back when this is done. All right, so that's done. Stack is up, should be. Just go to the IP, and there we go. We got our instance set up here. First thing we got to do, since it's the first time, we're going to have to sign up, create a name. We're going to just do that. There we go. Sign up. Done. Now, since I'm the only one that's using this, I prefer to just disable sign up afterwards. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to go back here. We're going to take the stack down with Docker Compose down. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and edit. Oop, nope, not that. We want to edit our .env file. All right. Now we're going to go down to registration, whoop, right there. We then want to, so this line right here, we want to set this line to, hold on. We want to set this line to true because we want to disable it. Save the file, and then we'll bring the stack up again. The sign up is gone. So then pretty much you're ready to go to do whatever you want to do with it. So log in. Okay, that took a while. I don't know why. Once you're logged in, and you can start using it. So first thing I recommend you do is just check your settings here, see what you want to change. Again, I already said, for me, I turn off PDF. I also make sure that prevent duplicates. If you're some weird, crazy person, you can change it to light mode. And stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. That's how you set up Linkwarden, and that's an overview as well.